Serena's story begins long before success ever found her. Back in her school days, she moved through the hallways quietly, almost as if she wished she could disappear into the walls. She didn't have the expensive clothes or trendy accessories that everyone else seemed to wear so effortlessly. Her sneakers were worn out, her backpack was old, and her lunches were often simple, sometimes barely enough. But what hurt her most wasn't the lack of things, it was the lack of kindness. Every day, whispers followed her like shadows. A small laugh from across the hallway felt sharper than any blade. Some students stared at her like she was a joke waiting to happen, and others didn't bother hiding their comments at all. Still, she kept her head down. Not because she was weak, but because she had learned that silence was the only shield she had. Inside her sketchbook, she created worlds she wished she lived in, places where people were gentle, where she didn't have to earn the right to belong. That sketchbook became her escape, her comfort, and sometimes her only friend. She didn't know it then, but every quiet moment she survived was shaping someone far stronger than anyone could see. And that strength would one day change everything. After graduation, Serena stepped into a world that wasn't any kinder than the one she had left behind. Life came at her fast, with bills she could barely pay and responsibilities she was never prepared for. Yet, instead of breaking under the weight of it all, she chose to rise. She took on 3 jobs, morning shifts at a cafe, late evenings at a small store, and weekends cleaning offices. Most nights, she fell asleep exhausted, sometimes with her head still resting on her open laptop as she tried to study business courses online. But even in those moments of exhaustion, something inside her kept pushing forward. There were days she questioned everything, days when loneliness felt heavier than any of her struggles. But she kept reminding herself that she had survived worse before. Every challenge she faced only strengthened the quiet determination she carried deep within her. People around her barely noticed her effort, but Serena wasn't searching for validation. She was building a life brick by brick, silently proving to herself that she was capable of more than the world had ever allowed her to believe. And in those moments of quiet perseverance, her true strength began to take shape, steady, unshakable, and ready for whatever came next. One ordinary afternoon, when Serena was running errands between her long shifts, she stepped into a small candle shop hoping to find an inexpensive gift. She wasn't expecting anything more than a quiet moment away from the noise of her busy life. The shop smelled of lavender and warm vanilla, the kind of scents that made her shoulders relax for the first time in days. Behind the counter stood Evelyn Hart, an elderly woman with gentle eyes who watched Serena wander through the shelves with a kind of curiosity most people never gave her. Serena didn't realize it, but Evelyn was observing not just her presence, but the way she admired the candles as if she could see the stories behind them. When Serena mentioned how beautiful the craftsmanship was, Evelyn smiled, because very few customers ever noticed the details. They ended up talking longer than either expected, and something about Serena's honesty, her quiet strength, and her eagerness to learn left an impression. Before she left, Evelyn surprised her with an offer, a small job at the shop, nothing grand, but a beginning. Serena walked out holding more than a bag. She carried the first spark of a future she never knew she had the right to imagine. Working at the candle shop became more than just a job for Serena, it became a place where she finally felt seen. Evelyn encouraged her to share ideas, and Serena, though hesitant at first, slowly began suggesting new designs, softer color palettes, and scents inspired by memories she had tucked away for years. What amazed Evelyn most was Serena's ability to blend emotion with creativity. Every candle Serena designed seemed to tell a story, and customers felt it. Little by little, the once quiet shop began welcoming more visitors, drawn in by the warmth Serena poured into her work. As the shop grew, so did Serena's confidence. She took courses on marketing, learned packaging techniques, and even created a small online page to reach customers beyond the town. Orders increased faster than either of them expected. What began as a humble artisan business soon started turning into something bigger, something filled with potential. When Evelyn passed away, she left Serena the entire company, a gesture that carried trust, love, and belief. Serena renamed the brand Heart and Haven, honoring both Evelyn's legacy and her own journey. Under her leadership, it became a global luxury name, proving that a girl once overlooked could rise to unimaginable heights through creativity, resilience, and limitless heart. The invitation arrived on an ordinary morning, tucked between business letters and shipment papers on Serena's desk. At first glance, it looked elegant: gold trimming, formal lettering, everything polished to perfection, but the moment she read the words, 10-year high school reunion, something inside her paused. It wasn't fear, and it wasn't anger. It was a quiet recognition of a chapter she had long outgrown. She could almost hear the echoes of old laughter, the whispers that once followed her down the hallway. Even through the polite wording, she sensed the familiar undertone. The same people who dismissed her then were now curious, maybe even eager, to see if she had changed at all. She placed the envelope down and let out a slow breath. A part of her wondered if attending was even necessary. She didn't need their approval, and she certainly didn't need their surprise. Yet another part of her understood something deeper. This wasn't about them. This was about her. It was about standing in the very place where she had once felt small and realizing she no longer carried that weight. She wasn't returning to prove her worth, she was returning to acknowledge the distance she had traveled. She chose to go, not for validation, but for closure, and that choice alone held all the power she ever needed. When the helicopter descended onto the wide green lawn, a hush spread through the reunion crowd as if the air itself had paused to watch. Serena stepped out with a calm that radiated through every movement she made. Her dress flowed gently in the breeze, and sunlight caught in her hair as if the world was finally reflecting back the light she had carried inside for years. Faces turned toward her, eyes widening with disbelief. These were the same people who once laughed at her thrift store clothes, who whispered behind her back, who never imagined she would ever be anything more than the girl they cast aside. Now, they stood frozen, struggling to reconcile the woman before them with the memory they held. Serena walked through them without bitterness. She didn't come to impress, and she didn't come to confront. She came to let go. Inside the hall, she paused at a photo of her younger self, alone, quiet, unsure, and felt no anger, only gratitude for the strength she had earned through every painful moment. When she finally stepped back outside and looked up at the sky, she understood something clearly. Her journey had never been about proving them wrong. It had always been about becoming someone she herself could be proud of.